going to talk about the one chip challenge because why the hell not? Everybody else is going to in the next couple of days. So let's get the jump on it simply because I had no idea what it was until a few days ago, before the Massachusetts death that has occurred in the last day or so. Gather round, children, because this story begins with yours truly at a gas station, just minding my own business, when the person that was accompanying me presented me with this coffin-shaped box that had neon letters on it, and I was like, ooh, what is this? Then I read that it was about hot things, and I'm not really into hot things. I don't know why some people are. My sibling is one of them. I don't know whether you want to be a big man about it and have an ego. Oh, I can eat this and I can explode fire out of my butthole 3 hours later. Not too sure what it is, because in order to be hot, a lot of times they compromise things on the flavor. So sometimes when you want spicy stuff, they just dump a whole bunch of chili in it and they want you to burn your butthole, but they don't actually want it cooked for you to make you enjoy it. So not really my thing. Hot sauces, And then this thing was a chip that was clearly made just so you can play around with your friends and brag and bet and do whatever and record it, which is kind of fun in itself, but not for me. However, this kind of thing is for my brother. So I thought about it and I was like, you know what, maybe we should get it. And we ummed and ahed because it was quite expensive. I believe it was $10 American, which is for, Australian at the moment. The exchange is 50 cents per US dollar. So yeah, it would cost $15 for one little chip, and it's not even that big. The packaging is a lot bigger than the actual chip inside it. And again, I'd never heard of this until I looked it up after this death. Apparently, the challenge existed from 2016 and it has its own hashtag, and it made people buy it, do it with their friends, post pictures on social media of their reactions and what happened. Apparently, some tongues turned blue, some people had to drink a gallon of milk. I still don't know what a gallon is. And I thought it would be funny to bring it home to my brother and get him to do it with his friends, because he's into this kind of thing, as I said. Later on, and I'm talking maybe 2.5 days, there's a spate of articles discussing a Massachusetts death of a 14-year-old from eating these chips. Paris Woolabar's mother does speculate that the eating of this chip contributed to his death. So she's not saying definitively this is what killed him. I mean, he might have had a prior issue. It does come with a series of warnings on the packaging. Do not consume this if you're pregnant. Do not consume this if you have an allergy to peppers, things of that nature. So it could possibly have contributed, and that is what she's saying. Since the death of this teenager, the Texas-based manufacturer Parkey has asked retailers to pull it from the shelves voluntarily. So they haven't been given a court order. It's not a legal thing yet. And it has existed, as I've said, since 2016. So to have one death allocated to this as a cause is quite small. One might even say it's considerably smaller than the deaths related to the COVID vaccinations. But anyway, moving on. It is something to think about. So one reaction, and we pull all this stuff from the shelves, but we have documented adverse reactions to something that's gone directly into your bloodstream and takes hold immediately, and yet that has not been recalled for further testing, which is all some people are asking for. So what's going to happen? Probably nothing. I will say that I think it was the right move business-wise and also quote-unquote morally-wise to voluntarily recall all the products from the shelves in that country. I can tell you for a fact, in Australia, the land of no fun, if that had happened here, it would be made illegal immediately. And there would be all sorts of regulations if they didn't make it illegal. So you would have to present ID and sign a waiver and all this kind of stuff, rather than just use your own common sense to read the warnings on the pack and see if it's right for you or not. Yeah, a teen did it, okay, fine. Their brains aren't fully formed to 25, but there are a lot of people walking around as an adult with, defective brains. I think whether they want or not, Parky's going to get a lot of business from this next year. A lot of people will be into the challenge and made more aware of it because of the publicity surrounding this. And again, whether they want it or not, it's going to probably drive a lot more sales for a 2024 challenge if more people don't die and if it doesn't get recalled permanently or something. Again, I want to draw attention again to the fact that it was one death that may have happened due to complications eating this chip, and that's why everything's being recalled. That's why there's a lot of articles, that's why it's making the news. Yet there are other substances and there are other things pushed by establishment that have not been changed when there have been a lot of injury and death occurring. I want to give condolences to the family, because this again is one of those things where you do it and you don't think it's going to end like this. If it was attributed to the spiciness of this chip or complications to do with this chip, it is a sorry affair. And it may just be one death in a million, but it is huge and devastating to that family, and it does have an impact. So while you're eating it going, it won't happen to me, and it probably won't, let's be honest, there is a family out there that's mourning the loss of someone that didn't think it could happen to them either. And that's a big deal. It's not just a statistic, it's a person's life. If only we had that same attitude towards things that are pushed on us from the establishment as well. Just a thought. I think the best thing to come out of this would probably just to make all teens and all people realize that there are consequences to the slightest things sometimes. So it could be a medicine, it could be a shot, it could be a food. Just to be more aware of what you're putting into your body is probably all we can really take away from this. Besides the fact that a independent company voluntarily record their product pending further investigation, pending changing the recipe, pending whatever, and establishment that has been put in place to protect you won't do the same thing. Rest in peace, Harris. I've been reading that you were a really good sportsman, and you and your future will be missed. Don't want to be one of those people that's asking you to sub and like, but if you feel like commenting or liking, that would help me out. It'll give me the power to do more of these episodes.